everyone. Welcome to Mackey Arena for this special edition of BoilerBall Live. We welcome you to the home of the Boilermakers, where today we have the big one on tap. 16th ranked Wisconsin and our 7th ranked Purdue Boilermakers. I'm Rob Blackman. Thanks for giving us some time on this Saturday. To my right, former Boilermaker Bobby Riddell, my broadcast partner on the Purdue Radio Network. And to my left, the Sports Information Director for Purdue men's basketball, Chris Forman. We have a lot to talk about in a very small amount of time, so let's jump right in. Bob Riddell, I told you on the radio network, it was my opinion, before the Michigan game on Tuesday, that the 4-game stretch that was coming up for Purdue was vital to winning a Big Ten regular season championship. That 4-game stretch included Michigan, Wisconsin today, and next week at Michigan State and at Indiana. The bad news, we're off to a bad start.
And we talked about the 2 games you wanted to win. If you went, say, 2-2, you would like to beat Michigan and Michigan State. And so those are the 2 teams you're battling there towards the top of the Big Ten. But I guess we shouldn't sleep on the Badgers here. They are not too far behind our Boilermakers now after that loss, 1 game behind us in the standings. So still got a chance to go 3-1. Hit that little 4-game stretch. We can get a little hot streak here. And it all starts today with this Wisconsin team. It'll be a really difficult matchup. They can really score the basketball. And they've had some time to prepare for our Boilers as well.
They've had an entire week off at the Badgers, and as Bob said, they're just 1 game behind Purdue in the loss column. They're 9-4, winners of 11 of their last 13, and this is not your father's Badgers, or your mother or grandfather. It doesn't matter. This is a totally different looking Wisconsin team than we've seen maybe in the last 50 years. I say that because their pace of play is much faster than it's ever been. They are now averaging 80 points a game, are the Badgers. They're making 11 threes per game on the average. This is not your Bo Ryan Wisconsin Badgers.
No, it's not. They're playing an up-tempo style, really scoring the basketball at a high clip. And you look up and down their roster, a bunch of guys who can really shoot the ball well, shoot the high percentages. Shoot the guy who's shooting the lowest percentage of the 3 that plays regularly, Max Leslie. Probably the guy I would say is their best 3-point shooter. He's really struggled this year from a percentage standpoint, but we know he can absolutely fill it up with 3. Just 28% of the season, but you talk about a team that can really score the basketball. John Tonje, the transfer, just really giving them a big time score off the wing. Blackwell run the show, and then they got a bunch of front court guys that can step out and shoot areas, but can also play down low. It's a talented team and a style of play that we're not accustomed to on the Badgers.
They shoot best 3-point shooting percentage in Big Ten play at 39.5%. For our Boilermakers, Chris Forman, big news today. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer are making their 100th career start. Every game they've ever played in a Purdue uniform, they've been in the starting lineup. There's only one other player in Purdue history that can claim to, in his first 100 games as a Boilermaker, been in the starting lineup for every 100 of them.
Yeah, Bruce Parkinson's the only other player in school history that started every game of his career. I think he started about 112 or so. So they're going to be about the 5th or 6th or 6th and 7th players to start 100 straight games. Just an unbelievable career still for these guys. They have another year after this, but what they've done for Purdue basketball in the last 2.5 years is something that's been pretty remarkable. They've won 82 games in their 2.5 years, on pace to maybe 90 through 3 years. So just what they've meant to this program as the starting backcourt cannot be measured by just wins and losses, but more in leadership and what they've done to take Purdue to the next level.
Speaking of leadership, since the last time we have spoken on this particular program, Caleb Furst has become the all-time winningest player in Purdue basketball.
Yeah, he's got 111 wins, passing last year's team, which won 110. Again, if they get 8-9 more wins, he's going to win 120 games or so in his career, which would be right up there among Big Ten all-time ranks as well. So, again, just a fantastic career, an unbelievable 4, 5, 10-year stretch for Purdue and what we've done the last 10 years. And the great thing is, next year's senior class is probably going to pass this year's senior class for wins. So, again, just an incredible run that Purdue is on, and hopefully we can keep it going today.
One thing Purdue's been doing well as of late, even with the loss of Michigan, scoring the ball. Last 5 games, Purdue is averaging 85 points a game. Now, only shooting 33% from 3, Bob, but 60% shooting inside of the 3-point arc, and the free throw shooting's at about 73% over that same stretch. So where Purdue has struggled with a 3-point shot, they've made up the difference inside of the arc.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. Offensively, they've been able to struggle from three, which has been unfortunate. But from a two-point standpoint, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Copeland, all three of those guys really flourish in the two-pointed area. Trey, of course, we've seen that he can make floaters, he can score this back to the basket using his footwork, kind of that rookie style. And Fletcher Lawyer with the floaters, the mid-range jumper, and Braden Smith, he shoots those little fadeaway jumpers, so impressive. He can get all the way to the rack at times as well. Those three guys are carrying Purdue from an overall scoring standpoint, but also being able to score in the two-pointed area. And that was something that really hurts Michigan. Braden Smith and Trey Copeland ran a ton of field goal attempts combined, but yet unable to get to the free throw line. That's been an area that we've been able to usually thrive, is get to the foul line. So hopefully today, at home against Wisconsin, we can find our way to the free throw line a little more, and that should be a big part of the game.
Will be a huge part of the game. Wisconsin, best in the country at free throw shooting.
I think they're on pace for the best mark all time.
That's correct.
In NCAA history. So Purdue absolutely has to keep them off the line.
Thanks for stealing my thunder. I was going to mention that they're on pace to be the best free throw shooting team in the history of the country, in the history of NCAA basketball in the country, but Chris stole that, so I'll steal something from him. Did you know if Braden Smith gets 11 rebounds, and I think he will, maybe not today, but certainly within the next couple of games, he'll be only the second player in NCAA history to be over 1,200 points, over 600 assists, over 500 rebounds before his junior season is over. Second in the history of NCAA basketball.
Yeah, with DJ Cooper from Ohio State back in about 2010 to 13 is when Cooper did it. Braden Smith is the best point guard in America. I don't think there's an argument about it. He should be a first-team All-American. Right now, he's third in the running for National Player of the Year, which everyone said after last year, Braden Smith is only good because he's throwing the ball inside the Zach Edey. He was the Zach Edey merchant. Can we say maybe Zach Edey was a Braden Smith merchant? Oh, no, I'm not doing that, but not doing that. But Braden Smith, the numbers he is putting up, I mean, just astronomical. If he stays at his pace that he's on now for next year, he's going to be close to 2,000 points, over 1,000 assists, over 700 rebounds. I mean, no one in NCAA history is putting up those numbers, ever.
That's the current crop of Boilermakers. Guys like Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Copeland. Today at Mackey, we'll be honoring a former Boilermaker and a great one. Today is Caleb Swanigan Recognition Day here at Mackey Arena. Biggie took us to a Big Ten championship, was an All-American, was a Big Ten Player of the Year. Unfortunately, his life cut way too short after his NBA career. Caleb Swanigan, we're honoring him today, Chris. Going to be a lot of emotion in this building.
Yeah, Biggie was one of my favorite players that we've had since I've been here. He was my first superstar, since I was here, so I spent a lot of time with them. Everyone thinks of him as kind of not sheltered, but he was to himself a lot.
Sure.
And once you got to know Biggie, he was one of the best kids that I've ever been around. I've been reading some stuff about him this week in advance of today, and it gets me every time reading about him. Just what he went through to become the player that he was. That's what I want him to be remembered about. He graduated from Purdue.
Was an academic All-American. I should have mentioned that.
He graduated when he was in the NBA, so his degree was important to him. Just a phenomenal person, and I miss him a lot. I think about him often, and I'm glad that we're able to recognize him today.
The first 2,500 people in the building today got a Biggie bobblehead. Of course, if you're watching this right now, too late. They've already been claimed. I can promise you that, because this building is filling up quickly for what will be the 87th consecutive sellout for Purdue basketball. All right, Bob Riddell, let's break it down as simply as we can. 6 games left for Purdue. 3 at home, 3 on the road. Starts today with Wisconsin. Purdue is a half a game back of Michigan for the Big Ten lead. Purdue still has on the schedule Michigan State, who is right there in the hunt for a Big Ten championship. Wisconsin, obviously, today, right there in the hunt for a Big Ten championship. Purdue still has Illinois on the schedule, and Indiana will certainly not be easy in Bloomington. It never is.
And UCLA.
And UCLA, who just won at Bloomington last night. The point I'm getting at, I said it was going to be simple. It's really not that simple. Maybe it is. if indeed Purdue wants to be a three-peat, Big Ten regular season champion back to back to back, what is Purdue going to have to do over these final 6 games to make that happen?
Certainly a great question. I think 6-0, of course, would be stunning not to at least get a share at minimum. Obviously, that would require Michigan to go undefeated the rest of the way, which I don't think that's going to happen. But we don't control our own destiny with them, unfortunately, anymore, as we don't play them. I think 5-1, you're going to at least get a share. I think 4-2 would be the spot where you would probably get a share at best. I think 5-1 would give yourself a pretty good chance to win it outright.
One final note. From the Big Ten to the NCAA, it's getting close to March Madness and Selection Sunday. As of right now, Purdue has 14 Quad 1 and Quad 2 victories, which is 3rd best in the country. Right now, Chris Forman, if you follow those who do bracketology or bracketologists, they're saying Purdue is a 2 seed in the Midwest. That wouldn't be all bad.
That wouldn't be terrible. The path would be Milwaukee in the first 2 rounds, Indianapolis at Lucas Oil in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. If you look at the bracketologists, whatever you call them, it's Alabama as a 1 in the Midwest, Purdue as the 2, Marquette, Wisconsin, Kansas, kind of those teams in the 3-4 range. So again, teams that Purdue has already seen, if that's the way they're going. So obviously a lot of season left to play. The CBS is doing a bracket reveal show today, starting at 12:30, so a little bit more clarity will come to that. But everywhere I've seen Purdue is a 2, mostly in the Midwest. If Purdue were to win out, could probably get to that 1 seed. You'd probably be shipped out west, which is where San Francisco, I think, for the regional round. So I say you want that 1 seed. It's obviously a great thing. It's an easier path. So we'll see what happens the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But Purdue is in a great shape to earn one of those top 4 seeds again.
Right now, the number 1 seeds are Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Duke. But remember, Auburn and Alabama play one another later this afternoon. I said it was going to be my last thing. I do have one more thing for Chris. Announced by Chris Forman and the rest of the basketball staff earlier this week, Purdue next year starts a home-and-home with Iowa State. How cool is that?
Yeah, another really big non-conference game coming for the Boilermakers in the next 2 years. We'll play in Mackey next year, then Hilton Coliseum, which I've been there a few times. Is an awesome venue. It's rocks. It's the atmosphere there is really, really good. So 2 great great home-and-home series with Iowa State, who's again they're in the running too for a 2-3 seed this year. So Purdue's schedule next year, I mean, it's no joke, because you have Alabama, 1 seed, Auburn, 1 seed, Marquette, 3 seed, Iowa State, 2 seed. And that's just the initial part of it. So once again, Purdue stepping up its schedule for the next coming years.
All right, we'll close with this. If you want to really impress your buddies at home or around the water cooler, or who's at work on a Saturday, give them this number, 70. Wisconsin this year, 14-1. When the opposition scores 70 or less. Purdue, 33-0, the last 33 games where they've held the opposition to under 70 points. 70's your magic number for today. Tell them Bobby Riddell told you. For Bob Riddell, for Chris Forman, for our entire broadcasting crew, thanks for joining us for this special edition of BoilerBall Live. Bob and I will be on the radio at 12 noon with our pregame show and the tip-off at 1. Purdue and Wisconsin today from Mackey Arena. Have a great day, everyone. Boiler up and hammer down.